Hey, it's Coach Tori, and this is Raising Runners. We talk running, fitness, mental health, and so many more topics. As the founder of a youth running program, I approach all of our conversations with our youth athletes in mind and kind of have a focus around those things. But as you will see, we are finding that all of these topics relate to runners and people who like to move and do fitness or anything like that. Relates to everybody. Check it out. In today's episode, surprise, we do have a guest. I know I told you that it was going to be just me for a couple of weeks, but already we have a guest. So hopefully that is a fun surprise for everybody. We have Beth Baker, who's a certified running coach, talking about not only coaching, but also her running journey. She has coached over 2,500 people, who a lot of them were either beginner runners or even people who did not run yet and became runners. So she talks all about really working with people, building a really awesome community. She talks about her own running journey and running experience, which is always, as you know, fun for me to really dive into. She talks about her running club, the coaching, the virtual coaching that they do as well. She talks about her podcast, just lots of great stuff, related to running, the cool places that she's run. I definitely have some things to add to my bucket list. So hopefully you enjoy listening to us kind of just chit-chatting about running. Start recording. So here we go.
All right.
If you want to just tell us a little bit about you, and then obviously we'll probably end up talking all about you for the rest of the episode.
It's all about me.
Yeah.
I am Beth Baker. I am a running coach, running coaching company called Running Evolution. And we coach people who've never run before to start to run, or people who hate running to start to run, or people who used to run like 30 years ago to start to run again. And we've been doing it for about 16 years and coached almost 3,000 people around the nation to start running, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. Well, so when I saw that statistic, I was like, am I reading this right? Like 2,500 plus people? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a time where it was a culmination of, when you start your business, you should start it in a recession and have it during when the Groupon days were happening. And that was we just had like this huge turnstile of groups that were coming in, and we did 2 groups a day at 25 people per group. And it kind of got crazy. Then we started doing virtually, and then having a DIY running coaching, so people listen to like a podcast and have a whole schedule. So it just kind of got crazy.
Yeah.
But it's been 16 years as well too, so it's a lot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, like, how long did it take to establish all that? That is a lot.
Yeah, it was we had a nice little we had a couple started off with 2 or 3 runners, and then it got bigger because Title IX, which is a women's sportswear company. I used to work for them when I lived down in San Francisco. And I knew the owner, and she found out that I was coaching up in Seattle, and she's like, hook this girl up. And she started sending my information out to all of her customers.
Oh, wow.
So that was a big push too. And then Groupon, and then it's just been like one thing after another, which has been great. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice waves.
So I definitely want to talk about that, but first I want to talk about you. And actually first I want to talk about Seattle, and I don't even have like any specific questions. So I've been to Seattle once. It was like a place I always wanted to go. I went maybe like a year before COVID started. And while I was there, I was like, I am moving here. I am obsessed with this place. It is beautiful. I love the people. I love the energy, all the coffee shops, like everything about it. I was obsessed. We did a run, not on Mount Rainier, but like a nearby. And it was such a fun race. So tell me about Seattle. Have you lived there like a long time? What are your favorite things about Seattle?
It's a Seattle show. So you're probably here in the summertime.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was April, May-ish.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It is I've been in a few places around the world. It is one of the most beautiful places in the world in the summertime. Blue skies, green, white caps of we have a sound, which is like an inlet, like an ocean inlet, and then the lakes, and there's just water everywhere. Bald eagles. I mean, it's just like, and it's kind of nuts because I remember seeing like a bald eagle, and there's some whales, and they're like mountains, and like on the run. This is on the run, and like this bald eagle was grabbing a salmon out of the out of the sound. It was just like, holy crap, I live here.
Right.
And I mean, I went for a run last week, and there was a bunch of people like sitting on the shore, and I'm like, oh, what are they looking at? I'm like, oh, there's some orcas out there. There's a whole pod of orcas. They're just swimming by, just I'm like, oh, I gotta go run. I've seen orcas before.
That's
And
crazy.
it's a little magical. So but during the winter time, it gets like the sun is set, and it's set at about 4 o'clock, maybe 3:48, and then it will come up tomorrow around noon.
Oh my
It,
gosh.
not really, but it
Oh
feels
my
like
gosh. I
it.
was like, what?
You're in Alaska. And then
Right.
it's really dark. Like there's a cloud cover. So the sunshine is kind of missing here. But during the summertime, it is amazingly beautiful, and we drink a lot of coffee because of the winters. Lots of
Yeah.
coffee.
I guess you would need that to be like somewhat energized when it's like it's
Yeah.
just dark
Yeah.
all the time.
Running and coffee are just like that saves my life. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now that I've geeked out on Seattle a little bit, I'm sure nobody else like cared to hear, but it sounds beautiful. It was beautiful when I was there. I always am like,
It's
I
a
need
great
to
place
plan
to
my
run
trip
too.
back.
It doesn't get terribly cold. I mean, it's supposed to snow tomorrow, but it's probably for like one day. And yeah, it doesn't get snowy. It doesn't get too hot. It's great.
Yeah. I was gonna say I
Yeah.
have pictures of us like on somewhere on the mountain, but like we're in shorts, but we're in like with the snowy part. And I'm like, this
Yeah.
is just, it was so cool.
And Mount Rainier is like so friggin' big. I mean, it's like it's a big volcano. I'm just like it doesn't you don't see it every day, and every time you see it, like, oh my god, it's so big.
Right.
It just sticks out of like yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. So you started running as an adult. Anyone,
Yes.
well, people who've listened to the podcast and anyone I talk to always hears me be like, I'm fascinated by people who start running as adults because
Oh,
I've been running forever and
yeah.
I honestly can't imagine, even though I've talked to people about it and I'm always asking people about it, but like it seems like it would be so hard. And
Yeah.
it's
And that's
perfect
why
talking to you because that's like what you do.
yeah, and that's why I coach people because I had so honestly, Tori, it was I jumped out of my first day of like out running, and I wanted to do a 5K. Actually I wanted to do a marathon. That was my kind of big goal. And I ran like 2 blocks, and I came home, started crying. I just thought there was something wrong with me. My dad was a runner, um, and not competitive, just like like a 3 mile a day runner. And I'm like, why can't I do this? Because I was like gasping for air, and my boobs were just going everywhere. And it was just awful. And it was like a lot of shame. I felt like a lot of like weird shame that I'm like, why am I not good at this? I was 26 when I started, and it was hard. It was just really hard. And I'm stubborn, and I wanted to keep doing it. So I kept running like little by little, and like giving up, and then restarting, giving up, like that whole period. And for about a year, and I did my first 5K after a year. And after like 6 weeks after that, I did my first half marathon. So I was so interested about that little like 3 mile spot in people's running, because it's just so hard to get past that, because your body's warming up, the endorphins haven't even like come to the table yet, and you just feel awful. I mean, every runner I've talked to, they're like, the first mile is just crap. And so I coach people to get past that area, and for them to like feel the feelings of what the after that feels like.
Yeah. Did you run by yourself when you were starting?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I started. I had a little. I'm not sure how old you are, but I had a little yellow Walkman with tapes. I lived in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, and just kind of run out there in my tie-dye shirts, and yeah, just started running in cotton pants, everything you're not supposed to wear.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, 4 sports bras on top of each other. True story.
And I'm sure you remember your first 5K very
Oh
vividly.
yeah, I still have the shirt. I just gave the shirt to my son because he'll be 16 tomorrow. But I gave it to him. He wore it for